Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gauraanga.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jagat
Guru Shri Prabhupada
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Hare, Ram Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare, Ram
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare, Ram Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare,
Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Vancha
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna
kalpatarubhyascha
Rama,
Hare Hare,
kripa
Ram
sindhu
Hare
vairabhya
Hare, Shri
patitanam
Krishna Chaitanya
pavanebhyo
Prabhu
vaishnavyo namo nama.
Nityananda, Shri Advaita
Ananta
Gadadhar,
Vaishnav ki
Shri
jai,
Vasadi Gaur
Namacharya Haridas
Bhakta
Thakur ji
Vrinda
ki
ki
jai,
Jai,
Srila
Hari Bol,
Prabhupada
Hari
ki jai.
Bol, Hari
Good
Bol,
morning, dear devotees.
Shri
This is
Radhe.
Shivani from Western Virginia. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Please forgive me for stopping your beautiful chanting. Let us move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, Adi Khanda, chapter 12, verses 45 to 54 today. May I ask who all have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mata Ji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Gandharvika Mata Ji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful association. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda. Pray for Aji Kamatiki Mataji. Her health is not good.
Yes, of course, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving a beautiful association and for chanting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Hey, Srila Prabhupada, this is Preeti Vilasam Devi Dasi from Atlanta. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving a beautiful association every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving a beautiful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Is there anybody else who would like to announce their name?
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devidasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you for joining every day and giving me a beautiful association and for your wonderful seva, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam to glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirti Dasundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirti Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving me a beautiful association. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you all once again to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada Ji. We have to work sincerely, and because Krishna is in everyone's heart, there will be no difficulty to have the necessary facilities. September 14, 1969. Hare Krishna, welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji. Prabhuji will be enlightening us on Adi Khanda, chapter 12, verses 45 to 54. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for
Hare
giving me
Krishna,
valuable time and your wonderful association this morning. We are looking forward to hearing from you very eagerly. Very happy to have you on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First and foremost, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you very much. I welcome each and every one of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa Group's Chaitanya Bhagavat session. At the outset, I'm very honored to be speaking amongst all of you who are eager devotees to listen to this sublime message. It is mentioned that one should share spiritual realizations with devotees. And one should share these spiritual realizations with devotees because they are the ones who relish, who add, and who provide more than what is necessary for the spiritual progress to happen. So very honored to be here. I thank Preeti Vilasini Mataji and many other organizers to give us this opportunity to speak about Krishna and specifically about Lord Chaitanya. So without further ado, we will start with Mangalacharan and then we will see today's verses. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namahum Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Welcome one and all to all the devotees who are assembled on this call to Caitanya Bhagavat Adi Khanda, which we are discussing specifically 12th chapter, verses 45 to 54. It is very appropriate that we started from Srila Prabhupada's quote. And today's quote was very significant. Why was it significant? Because Srila Prabhupada today in his quote, he mentions a very significant point that we have to work very sincerely, and because Krishna is in everyone's heart, there will be no difficulty to have the necessary facilities. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that Krishna is there in everyone's heart very emphatically, and it is no coincidence that today's first verse is talking about the same aspect. And let us read the first verse in text 45. And let us read about this first. Text number 45. I hope you can see it on the screen. It says, Antaryami Prabhu Chitta Janena Sabara Shrivasadi Dekhile Kare Namaskara. As the super soul, the Lord knows the heart of all living entities. Whenever he saw devotees like Srivas, he would offer them his respects. Now, this is a very wonderful message which is mentioned here, that Krishna resides in each and every living entity's heart as the super soul. So Krishna is actually residing in the heart, and he is the knower of everything. In fact, many people feel this is very scary. Why is it scary? Because if they are thinking something, that is already known by the spirit soul. If they are going to do something, that is also known by the spirit soul. So everything that we are thinking, feeling, and inspired by, this is all known by the spirit soul. Even before we are supposed to act, the first information is known by the spirit soul. The super soul, sorry, not the spirit soul. The super soul, Paramatma. And because he is seated so close in our hearts, he knows the heart of all living entities. So this is one of the qualities. In fact, the last week when we were discussing about the names of Vamana. And one of the names of Vaman Dev was Niyamaha. Niyamo Yamaha. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, it is mentioned that one of the names, which is the 161 names of Lord Vishnu, is Niyamaha. Niyamaha means that he is the one who inspires as super soul to do certain activities in the living entities. For example, he was the one who inspired Shukracharya to curse Mahabali. He was the one who appeared there and asked for the 3 paces of land and inspired Mahabali from his heart, to give away, to give those 3 paces of land. He was the one who inspired Lord Brahma to pour the Ganges water on his lotus feet. He was the one who inspired Aditi to ask for such a boon. None of these. Now one might think that is there no independence? Is it all sanctioned by the super soul? No, the choice is there. But the minute the choice is taken, the super soul knows about that choice, is aware about that choice. And he knows about this choice which is taken by the spirit soul. So he knows the heart of all living entities. He knows the thoughts that is going on in the hearts of the devotees. But here, the second part of the shloka is very important. Shrivasadi dekhile kare namaskara. So why is the Lord paying obeisances, paying respects, not obeisances, paying respects to a devotee like Srivas? What is the reason? And the reason is that the Lord is paying the respects because he knows that in Srivasa's heart, it is Krishna and Krishna alone. His actions are always Krishna conscious in nature. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always loves devotees who are fully dedicated, Uttama Adhikaris, who are fully dedicated their lives in propagating Krishna consciousness. Srivas was one such candidate. Why? Why should we consider Srivas as one such candidate? Because whenever he spoke, whenever he discussed, and whenever he acted, all his speech, his thoughts, his words, his action had Krishna in the center. In the Shastras, it is mentioned in a very beautiful shloka. It is mentioned, Abdau Vidau Vadumukhe Faninam Nivase. Swarge Vasat Sudha Vasati Cheti Buddha Vadanti. Sharak Shayah Pathimithir Visham Indra Nashaha Kanthe Sudha Vasati Sa Bhagavat Jananam. This is a very beautiful shloka where it mentions different entities. And there will be a lot of questions today. The first word mentioned in the shloka is Abdau. Abdau means ocean. Abdihi, the fathomless, the bottomless, the deep ocean. Abdau Vidhau Vadumukhe Faninam Nivase. The next Vidhau means also moon. And there is also mention of heaven. And there is also mention of a newly wedded wife. And there is also mention of a newly wedded wife and her presence. But what is this shloka mentioning? The shloka is asked, where do you find nectar in this world? And so the answer to that question is this shloka. Where do you find nectar in this world? The nectar is found in the ocean. Some people say it is found in the ocean. Some people say it is found in the moon planet, Chandraloka. Some people say the Devas, they are the ones who are the custodians of the nectar. So they have it. Some people say, no, it is not there in the Devaloka or in Chandraloka or in the ocean, but it is actually there in the lips of a newly wedded wife. The nectar of happiness is there in the lips of a newly wedded wife or a spouse. But some people say, I have heard in the past and in the Shastras that they are not available in all of the above locations, but they are available in the Sarpaloka, in the Bilvasvarga, in the bottom planetary systems. But the poet mentions all of these answers are incorrect in nature. That means that the poet is negating the fact that nectar is not found in the ocean. Nectar is not found in heaven. Nectar is not found in moon. Nectar is not available in the lips of a young lady or a young man. And the nectar is also not available in the planetary system of the snakes. Then one may ask why it is so. Why? Why do you say so? That it is not available in these places. And there is a sequential reasoning which is given. It is not available in the ocean because if ocean is really having the nectar, then the whole of ocean water should be nectarian to drink. But this is not the case. What is the taste of the ocean water? What is the taste of the ocean water? If anybody has tasted?
Salty.
It is salty. So just because it is salty in nature, the poet is saying that no, this is not possible. Because if it contains nectar, the whole water body has to turn nectarian. So the nectar is not available in the ocean. Then, okay, what about the moon planet? What about the moon? They say in Chandraloka, it is available. The poet says, no, it is not available there also. Because if anybody consumes nectar, they will not die. They will be immortal. But what happens to the moon? It waxes and wanes. Sometimes, as we know, in the first 14 days, it grows and wanes. And we see this phenomenon in the moon. So it dies, waxes and wanes is like dying and resurgence. So it cannot have nectar. We see by its quality, it cannot possess nectar. It doesn't turn immortal. It doesn't stay as is. So it is not there in the moon as well. Then what about heaven? No, it is not possible in the heaven, because in the Bhagavad-Gita it is said, Ajiva bhuna loka punaravartino arjuna mam upetyantu kauneteya punarjanmana vidyate. Even the devas, they come back to this material world. So even if they are consuming nectar, one day the effect runs out and they actually have to fall down on this planet Earth. So even the Devaloka, even the heavenly planet systems cannot really contain the nectar. Then what about the lips of the young lady or the spouse? Can the nectar be there? But it is quite seen that even though some people marry, the next day, sometimes the spouse passes away. Or in a very few days, they pass away. There is no guarantee that they will not die. So even if they contain nectar or the so-called material happiness, which is nectarian in the lips of their spouses, even that does not guarantee them from death. Okay, there also the nectar is not available, but I have heard it is available in the Sarpaloka, in the planet of the snakes. No, they also cannot have nectar, because if they are drinking nectar, why are they poisonous in nature? So in this way, the poet very expertly denies that the nectar is not available in all these places. It is not available in the ocean. It is not available in the heaven. It is not available in the Sarpaloka. It is not available in the lips of the young lady. It is not available in the moon planet. So where is it available? Khante Sudha Vasati Sa Bhagavat Janana. It says then real nectar is available in the throats of the pure devotees of the Lord. The real nectar is in the throat and tongue of the realized sages and saints, whose sweet words and instructions help persons to attain immortality and eternal peace. Through Krishna Katha, through their words, through their actions, they are the distributors of nectar. They are the real Vaishnavas who are distributing nectar. Tava katamritam tapta jivanam. They are the ones who are speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam day in and day out. So aren't they the ones who are distributing the highest fruit from the tallest tree of the Vedic branch, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, through their actions, words, and their thoughts? Such a devotee is Srivas. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that he is a very pure devotee. And he is the one who is at a very high platform. And this he knows as a super soul as well. Whenever Srivas thinks, he thinks about Krishna. Whenever he's going to act in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is very pleased, and Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is setting us an example in this verse. Srivasadi dekhile kare namaskara. When you see such a devotee, when you see such a Vaishnava from far or near, or when you hear about the glories, one should pay their respects by paying their obeisances. We often see in this song of Ebaro Karuna Karo, Gangara Parasha Hoile, Pashate Pavar, Tomara Darshane Matra. So it says, Darshane Pavitra Karo, Yei Tomar Gun. It says that by taking bath in the Ganges, one gets purified. But such a Vaishnava who carries Krishna in the heart, if one person takes the divine blessings of such a devotee, then they are equivalent to taking the dip of the Ganges. They get completely purified. They don't need to go into the Ganges because the devotee carries the Dham in his heart. So in text 45, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exemplifying this behavior by saying that one should offer their respects. And he's showcasing it to us that how we should give respects to Vaishnavas. This is Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the super soul who resides in the heart of all living entities. He is offering respect. He is fully cognizant, but he is offering respect. So we should give respect to all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. What to speak of Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis? We should give respect to all living entities, because Krishna is residing in each and every entity. Sometimes we do speak to others and they agree to us, they are hostile to us, they are not listening to us, or they might not agree with us, they might pick up a fight with us. At that time, I heard once that, of course, we should protect our interests. We should see that we don't get disturbed. We should leave the place if it is getting too agitated. But one should ensure sometimes that when things are not moving, the mind is very thick that you cannot penetrate through or send your message to the other person. Sometimes we should just address the super soul. Of course, we don't have the mechanisms, but we should say to Krishna, Krishna, you are residing in the other gentleman or the lady's heart. And I'm trying to explain, but this is not going through. Please inspire him or please inspire her. Sometimes addressing like this, it makes the cut because Krishna listens. Krishna sees the endeavor. And this happens quite a lot in the book distribution table. When we want to give a book and somebody says no, and there is constant argument to and fro. Sometimes when you pray, Krishna, please inspire this devotee to take a book. And it happens. Okay, fine, you give me. It does happen. We can't take the credit. It is Krishna inspiring from within, making him or her to take that action. But sometimes the volume is so low. That means the individual soul, spirit soul, has kept the volume of super soul. That means the recipient ear has kept the volume so low that even if the super soul is saying again and again, Paramatma is inspiring, take the book, take the book, take the book. The volume is muted again and again, that the action does not come. But again, this is independence, which is given to a spirit soul. But nevertheless, here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu paying all respects to Srivas. And how did he accept the blessings when it comes from senior devotees? This is also seen very nicely in the text 46. Bhakta Ashirvada Prabhu Shire Kari Laya Bhakta Ashirvade Se Krishna Te Bhakti Haya. The Lord accepted the devotee's blessings on his head, for devotional service to Lord Krishna is attained only by the blessings of devotees. We should write this and paste it on top of our vision board, on top of our working desk. That devotional service to Lord Krishna is attained only by the blessings of devotees. We should be repeatedly asking for blessings. We should be begging for blessings. Even if we have, everything is going well, we should ask for blessings. We should ask for blessings. And blessings for what? For progressing in Krishna consciousness. At times, we have all the material needs in our life, and we feel, why should we ask? What blessing should we ask? We have the money, we have the car, we have the house, we have a nice house, everything is going well. We can ask for blessings so that we understand the purports of Bhagavad. We can ask for blessings so that we can cry while we chant. We can ask for blessings to have more interest in chanting. We can ask for blessings to chant more rounds. We can ask for blessings to read Srila Prabhupada's books more and preach them more. There are so many aspects. Sri Rupa Goswami never said that we should have no desires. He said we should not have desires which are against Krishna consciousness. Many people think that we should have no desires. Even that is a desire. Having no desires is also a desire. So this is very different. It is like somebody saying, I belong to no group. You belong to group A, you belong to group B, you belong to group C. I am not belonging to any group. So by saying that, they still fall into the group of those who are not in any group. So that will be a separate group. So the material world is like this. So one cannot be saying that I don't want any desire. One can say I need not have any material desire. To desire to serve Krishna is very natural. And that is the constitutional position of the spirit soul. So one should ask blessings which is favoring that constitutional position. And here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again is showcasing by the example. He is the sovereign master of the 14 worlds. He nevertheless, though he is the master of the 14 worlds, he accepted on his head the blessings of his devotees. The devotees' blessings are so powerful that by their influence, even a living entity who is averse to Krishna becomes attached to his lotus feet. And this is very wonderfully seen in so many different pastimes. And we have discussed how in the Ramayana, this wonderful example is given of Shabari. She was following in the footsteps of her spiritual master. And when her spiritual master mentioned that you please stay here, I give you all the blessings. You stay here and one day Ramchandra will come and you offer them the bear, the fruits. She used to wait every single day. She used to go out on the streets. She used to check if the fruits are there on the trees. And if they had fallen down, she will pick them up and stitch it back together. She will pluck out the ones which are non-ripe and she will only keep the ripe ones. Even though they have fallen down, she will stitch it so that Ramchandra, while on the way to the cottage, he can pluck the ripe ones and start eating it already. She would ensure that the flowers which are making the way towards a cottage are always blooming with wonderful flowers. They're always blooming in nature so that there is a good welcome. Did she know what date, time Ramchandra, Lakshman would arrive? She had no clue. Did she know whether they will come in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? She had no clue. She kept on doing this exercise day in and day out, because this was mentioned to her that her blessings are provided to her by a spiritual master, that you will succeed in seeing Lord Ramchandra one day. And when she really saw, and when she really served Lord Ramchandra with the fruits, and when the Lord became happy, not because that she gave the fruits, but first because she obeyed the order of her spiritual master. And she had been the recipient of the blessings of her spiritual master. This is a very important lesson, that one has to get the blessings of the devotees. In the Vamandev pastime as well, we see that Lord Vamandev did not take the 3 steps unless and until Shukracharya cursed Bali Maharaj. So we see through that example, when Aditi requested the Lord that you please kill the Daityas and re-establish my son Indra on the throne, Vamandev said, no, that is not possible. She said, why? One, I have given the vow to Prahlad Maharaj as Narsingdev that I will not kill anybody in your heritage, in your line, in your genealogy, or in your family line. But it is seen that the Lord sometimes breaks his own promises. So he said the other reason is he is favored by his spiritual master. He has got the blessings of the Brahmanas. He has got the blessings of the devotees. So this is one of the reasons that I will not kill him. But the day he disrespects his spiritual master, he will lose everything. And that is what happened. So a blessing of a devotee, sometimes even a curse by a devotee, is also a blessing. We see that in the Damodar pastime, the curse of Narada was a blessing for Manigriva Nalakuvara. The curse of the spiritual master of Bali, Shukracharya, was a blessing that even today we are glorifying Maharaj Bali. So this is a very nice instruction for us to understand that we should always endeavor for the blessings of the devotees. And in fact, there was a very wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada. It was mentioned by His Holiness Badri Narayana Swami Maharaj in a very beautiful lecture a couple of years ago. There were rumors when Srila Prabhupada was alive that Srila Prabhupada had seen Rupa Goswami. Of course, we all know that Prabhupada did take darshan of Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami gave the darshan to Srila Prabhupada. But when this was not an established fact, many people thought this was a grapevine in the ISKCON community. And it was asked again and again to Srila Prabhupada at different corners and times. Srila Prabhupada, it was asked by His Grace Harisori Prabhu. Sometimes he used to ask, and when it is coming from His Grace Harisori Prabhu, this is mostly 200% factually correct. And this was asked that, why is it that we keep hearing Srila Prabhupada? Why is it that we keep hearing that you had the darshan of Rupa Goswami? Is it true? One time Prabhupada said, you don't need to know that. Prabhupada never said no. Prabhupada never said yes. Prabhupada said in his utmost humility, you never need to know that. And this was his response. He never accepted. Years later, after when Prabhupada left this planet, when some devotees went to Radha Damodar temple, they saw a very old sannyasi there. His name was Bhakta Chand Swami Maharaj. And somehow when they were interviewing them to find out Srila Prabhupada, whether he stayed here and what kind of life did he lead, did he have really the darshan of Rupa Goswami? Then Bhakti Chand Maharaj, I think that's his name, Bhakti Chand Maharaj, he said, I will tell you a story. And he said, yeah, what's the story? The story goes that he was a very small child and he used to visit Radha Damodar temple. And of course, in the olden times, if you have been to the Radha Damodar temple, not the new constructions, the old constructions, there used to be a beautiful veranda around the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. And people used to play around, and this boy used to play in that veranda. And one day when Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the courtyard of Radha Damodar temple and chanting his japa, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And even he was chanting like this, he saw this young boy, Bhakti Chand Maharaj, this young boy was just running here and there. And then he put his hand in the temple collection box, the hundi, and started taking money. And immediately Srila Prabhupada broke his chanting, walked up to him, caught up his hand and asked, what are you doing? And Bhakti Maharaj, who was a boy at that time, said, I am taking this money to buy some sweets from Loi Bazaar because I'm very fond of sweets. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is very bad. You will face a lot of karmic reactions for this. This is not the right way. What if I give you sweets? You come every day. Anyway, I do make a lot of sweets for my guests and I do distribute it to them. Srila Prabhupada always used to make sweets. And he said, I will give you sweets. You put this money back in and pay obeisances to Rupa Goswami and ask for forgiveness. He did that. And every day, as a young boy, he would come and imagine, knock on the door, and Srila Prabhupada would personally, from his hand, do food distribution and give sweets to this young boy. One fine day, Srila Prabhupada was coughing and he was having a lot of cough and chest congestion. And he had locked the door and he was contemplating, sitting there and translating in the evening. And this Bhakti Chand's mother, she said, why don't you go and ask Swamiji if he needs some dal, some sabji, some rotis? Why don't you go and ask? And this Bhakti Chand, as a boy in the evening, he went and he saw this great effulgence coming outside the room of Srila Prabhupada. And he was seeing this effulgence coming out of the room and the room was locked. And he was saying, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. And there was no response coming from the other end. So he was at that point of time asking this question again and again. He was asking this, who was this personality who is actually speaking? And he could hear these loud noises coming from the other side. And he felt some grave conversation going on the other side of the door. So he always wanted to ask, who is this? Whom is he speaking to? But on that day, Srila Prabhupada did not open the door. And when Srila Prabhupada did not open the door, he thought that maybe tomorrow I will come and ask. The next day morning, he came running, knocked on the door, asked Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada opened the door with a sweet in his hand. He said, okay, Bhakti Chand, here goes your sweet for the day. And he said, Prabhupada, leave me all that. You tell me, whom were you speaking to yesterday? And the answer that came from Srila Prabhupada was, it was Rupa Goswami whom I was speaking to. And this was confirmed. And what was Rupa Goswami saying to Srila Prabhupada? He said that you just write these books. You just give the spiritual education, which is the seed of all happiness. Rest, we will take care. Rest, we would be taking care of everything else. This is the blessings of Sri Rupa Goswami. And this is what Srila Prabhupada was hankering always. And he was so glad that he received the blessings. This is the power of blessings of devotees. And Srila Prabhupada spreaded it all over the world. The blessings of Rupa Goswami through his books, through his purports, he gave it to every single person in this world. And this is what is important for us to understand. And this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exemplifying by his example, that he is ready to take blessings from everyone. Text 47. Now we enter into a subject matter where people are asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you studying? What is the use? Text 47 says, Keha keha sakshate, O Prabhu dekhi bole, ki kariye ganao kala tumi vidya bole. Someone directly told Nimai, why are you wasting your time with mundane education? Keha bole hera dekha nimani pandita vidyaya ki labha Krishna bhajahatvarita. Another person said, look, Nimai, what do you gain from studying? Just worship Krishna. This material education can give us the best of the skill sets. This material education can give us the best of skills. but it doesn't give us Krishna. This is what many people were saying, and they were giving more logic. Pade kena loka Krishna bhakti jani bare se yadi na hila tabe vidyaya ki kare. Why do people study? Education is only for understanding devotional service of Lord Krishna. If that purpose is not served, then what is the use of education? Commentary. Devotion to Krishna or achieving devotional service to Krishna is the perfection of all knowledge and learning. This is a very beautiful statement. Knowledge means, Srila Prabhupada writes in his small books, that to understand that we are not this body, but we are spirit soul. Nowhere in the material education, this knowledge is provided. Always in the material education, we have been identified that as this body and how we can earn money and stay in this world very happily. And they teach us skills, how to survive in this material world and get a lot of money. But nowhere they teach us devotion to Krishna. So even if somebody says, okay, fine, I will see about it later. Let me accumulate all this material knowledge, because even to learn skills is important. It is mentioned, if devotion to Krishna is not attained, after accumulating all knowledge, if the result is not devotion to Krishna, then it is useless. Knowledge that does not awaken one's attachment for Krishna simply increases one's material illusion. Now, there was a small test which was conducted, which gave us a very clear vision into whether this is truth or not. And now I'll ask this question. Suppose you meet a 4-year-old girl and it is her birthday. And suppose she's cutting the cake and you ask the girl, how old are you? And she says, 4 years old. And suppose you say 4 years old, you actually look like 2-year-old. Now, can somebody in the audience tell me whether the girl will be happy or sad?
You will be happy.
I say sad.
Very sad.
Sad. Why?
Yes.
Why sad?
Because she'll say, I'm not a baby.
Absolutely right, Mataji. That's the perfect child psychology. I'm not a baby, I'm growing old. Okay, let's repeat this exercise to an 18-year-old girl. On her 18-year-old birthday, we go and say, okay, you actually look older, like 30 years old. Will she be happy or will she be sad?
Sad.
She will
Now,
never.
how is this possible? She'll never, sorry?
Talk to me, Prabhu.
She'll never talk to you. Never invite you for that birthday cake. Yes, absolutely true. Now, what has changed? As a young girl, she was sad when you called her young. As an old girl, she's sad when you call her old. So the tables have turned. What has happened? Let us take another example before we delve into the details. Let's all say that you have all passed the college, and in the college, you have all got degrees. Suppose, let us say the degree is, or the education, the bachelor education is for 4 years. You always go to a fresher who has just entered the college and you ask them the question, where do you think is the real happiness of education? How many of them will say the first year of college? The first year is the best year of my graduation. How many of you will say? Is it true or false? True. Many people, if you ask this question, in the first year, they will say, I think we have to get good scores. We have to be in the eye of the teacher. Somewhere in the fresher, we are getting ragged by our seniors. We are the lowermost in the chain. Maybe the second year, we'll get accustomed in the college, and maybe we'll ace the logic. And we will ace the system which is there in the college. So the first years will always look at the second years. When they reach the second year, They will look at their seniors who are in the third year, who are getting placements in colleges, in organizations, and think they are earning money. They are going to the best of the organizations, and we have to reach there. So second year, I have to somehow finish my second year of my education and go to the third year. And you ask the third year students, they'll be like, I'm enough of this college. I want to get into a good placement. I want to get the Googles and the Amazons of the world, and I would like to be there. And constantly, I would be happy. And when they work in the best of the organizations, they sit back and say, my third year of college, my college life was the best life. What has happened? For the young girl, when she was told that she looks young at 4 years old, she thought happiness is there as an adult. When it was the adult, they generally feel happiness is there in the old age when I get a lot of money. When you ask an old man or an old woman, where is the happiness? They will reminiscence of their previous young age. There was no happiness anywhere. It was just an illusion. It was just a creation of illusion that the happiness is there in the next step, but that was not so. So this is what happens when we think that the happiness is there in the next level. The first year college students thought that the happiness is there in the second year. And the second year, they thought the happiness is there in the third year. And the third year thought the happiness is there in the organizations when we earn money. And when they earn money, they thought when I didn't have a single dollar in my pocket and still I had a good meal and a dance at Hare Krishna temple, that was the best time. This is fact of life. Material education does not provide us happiness. And even if someone says, I want to gain this material happiness, the problem is, my dear devotees, that it doesn't lead us to happiness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Sharanagati, he sings, Vidyara vilase katainu kala parama sahaseyami Tomar charana nabhajinu kabu ekona sharana tumi. He says in a very beautiful way, with great enthusiasm. Vidyara vilase katainu nakala. With great enthusiasm. Not that I was very sad. Why should I go to college? Why should I go to school? With great enthusiasm, I spent my time in the pleasures of mundane learning. And what did I not do? Tomara bhajane bhadda. I never worshipped your lotus feet. Moha janami. Then he says, Tomara charana na bhajinu kabu. Ekona sharana tumi. And you were lotus feet I never worshipped. But now I know that you are my only shelter. He says, Podite, podite, barasa bharilu, jnane gati habe mani. Se asha bifala, se jnana durbala, se jnana ajnana jnana. He says that in a very beautiful bhajan, he says, Podite, podite. He was reading again and again and again. He was reading again and again. And when he was reading this material subject matter, his hopes was growing on and on and on. Because he always believed. It is out of humility he's saying. He's a magistrate, but out of total humility he's mentioning that he believed that reading this material education will be the true life's goal. But he learned that how fruitless it was. Because all the knowledge that he learned, he mentions that it turned to be feeble. And then there was a dawn of realization. Dawning of realization, what is that? All such erudition is actually pure ignorance. If the education cannot give Krishna consciousness, it is ignorance. And why is it ignorance? He gives a very nice analogy. Jada vidya jata mayara vaibhava tomara bhajane bhatta Moha janamiya anitya samsare jivaye koroye gada. He compares himself as an ass, as a donkey. And he says, all the so-called knowledge of this world is born of the flickering potency of Maya. Mayera, Vaibhava. All this thing is a flickering potency of Maya. And what does it do? It just gives us an impediment to execute devotional service. Indulgence in the mundane knowledge verily makes an ass out of the eternal soul by encouraging his infatuation with this temporary world. So this is what material education does. But what should we do if we are extremely interested in knowing about the spiritual subject matter? If we are interested to learn, this is where Srila Prabhupada tells us to dovetail. Bhagavad-Gita 1.1. And in fact, 1.1.1. You will be wondering, what is 1.1.1 in Bhagavad-Gita? Generally, in Bhagavatam, it is 1.1.1. I say this 1.1.1 because Bhagavad-Gita, first chapter, first verse, first line of the purport. Let us read. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetadi Yutsavaha Mamaka Pandavasheva Kimakurvanti Sanjaya. He says in the purport, Bhagavad-Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya. This is the first line. So let's say 1.1.2. There it says that one should read Bhagavad-Gita very scrutinizingly. This word has to be analyzed, read, underlined, very scrutinizingly. This is the first purport, second line of Srila Prabhupada. He doesn't say just glimpse read. He doesn't say just read. He says read very scrutinizingly. And how? With the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna. So this is where the reading matches with devotion. And try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. That means don't have personal gains out of it. That means this reading will give you devotion to Krishna. This is how Srila Prabhupada is giving an instruction of how we should acquire knowledge. And this is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which we spoke about in Kalyana Kalpataru, he is mentioned. So what did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? Quickly, let's see the 4 verses. It's very simple. Hashi bole Prabhu bada bhagya se amara, tomara shikhao more Krishna bhakti sara. The Lord smiled and said, I am most fortunate, for you are all teaching me that devotional service to Krishna is the essence of all education. And go back to that purport of Srila Prabhupada in the 1.1. It says one should learn with the help of a devotee. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting that fact here. I am most fortunate and you are all teaching me out of total humility. And then he will smile a little. And he says, I sincerely feel that one is blessed by all of you is most fortunate. Katadina padaiya mora chitta ache, chali mubu jiya bhala vaishnavera kache. I have already decided that after teaching a while longer, I will go and serve a pure devotee. Now, this is the essence of education. So if we go back to this poem, in the last verse, he says, Tomara charana bina kichu dana, samsare na ache ara, bhakati vinoda jadi vidya chadi, tuapada kore sara. O Lord, there is no treasure worth seeking in this world other than your lotus feet. This should be the conclusion of the education. Bhaktivinoda abandons all his mundane knowledge and makes your lotus feet the sum and substance of his life. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting here that he will teach a little longer, but later he will turn towards spiritual life. Later he will turn and go and serve a pure devotee. He will attain the real reason for Krishna consciousness. And then final 2 shlokas, he says, after saying all this, the Lord smiled at his servants. By his influence, However, no one could recognize him. No one could recognize that he was a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by acting it this way, in the proper, humble way, what did Nimai do? Emata Thakura Sabara Chitta Hare, Hena Nahi Ye Jane Apeksha Nahi Kare. In this way, Nimai attracted the heart of everyone. We started that he is a super soul in everyone's heart. We are ending that he attracted the heart of everyone, because there was no one who could escape his power of attraction. By his knowledge, by him being a sweet, smiling Lord, and at the same time, by showing his intention very, very clearly and setting an example that how one should respect other devotees and one should dovetail their education for getting Krishna's blessings. So these are the verses for today. I thank each and every one very, very much for giving me an opportunity to speak about this subject matter. I'm very happy that you all gave some time to honor these shlokas. If there are any mistakes, please correct them. You are all Vidwans. If there were anything good that you heard, those glories go to my spiritual master, and none of them are mine. And I ask for all the blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis to bless me so that I can continue in Krishna consciousness and read these spiritual nectarian purports of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, which are merging so wonderfully well. It is like all the rivers of explanations are merging into that one voluminous ocean that Srila Prabhupada has given in his purports, that I could one day understand a drop of those purports. Yadastras kalitam kinchit vidvam satpurayanti tat yadastras saushtavam kinchit tad guru eva vidhi. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai. If there are any questions, comments, critiques, feedbacks, mistakes, please let me know. Hare Krishna.
Very, very amazing class, Prabhu. Nectar flows from the mouth of devotees, the Khanda, right, from the throat of devotees. So thank you for the very nice nectar today. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Very nice, Prabhu. Very meditative, very nice. So I couldn't take for a second. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the kind words. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Very, very beautiful class. As Preeti Lasni Mataji said, I really liked when you said that we should always ask for blessings from devotees. Good, even if they're blessing you in a good way or in a bad way, it's always a blessing. So always, it's good for you, no matter which way it goes. Very, very nectarian class. Thank you so, so much. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead at this time.
Okay, if there are
Hare
no
Krishna
questions,
Prabhu. Actually,
yes,
yes,
Madam.
yes. You said that the fact that Srila Prabhupada was speaking with Rupa Goswami was confirmed, if I understood properly. So I'm wondering how that was confirmed.
When they asked this Maharaj, Bhakti Chand Maharaj, this is what I heard from His Holiness Badri Narayan Swami Maharaj in one of the classes. He mentioned that when the interviews were taking place after Srila Prabhupada left, they went back to Radha Damodar and interviewed about him to many others. They did hear this narration, and this Bhakti Chand Maharaj mentioned that he asked Srila Prabhupada, whom were you speaking to yesterday? I was hearing these noises and there was this effulgence. And he said, I was speaking to, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that I was speaking to Rupa Goswami, to that Maharaj. And that's how he confirmed it. And that was recorded. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
I don't know how well I was able to follow. So the So the devotees went back to Vada Damodar temple
Yes.
where that conversation took place and inquired from those who said that
Those who had seen Srila Prabhupada during those times and had interacted with him during that incident. One day afterwards, one day before, those who knew Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you, Madhuri. Hare Krishna. There's one other question on the chat. Was Shukracharya a devotee? There are 2-3 texts which are provided. O Brahmanas, Shukracharya, please describe the fault of. Can somebody ask the question based on the text and this thing? Is there a different meaning to the text, or is it that the question was Shukracharya a devotee?
I think the question was Shukracharya a devotee? And based on some conversation that proves that yes, he was. But you please feel free to clarify and answer, Prabhu.
Shukracharya was definitely a devotee because he was happy to, in a way, he was acting as per the Lord's instructions. He was the one who said, Bali, don't give this 3 paces of land. One who has come at your doorstep is Vishnu. And he will take away from you your entire kingdom. This is what he mentioned. Now my question is, what is the role of the spiritual master? The role of the spiritual master is to tap on the shoulder of the disciple and say, here is the Lord. Surrender unto him. Become his servant. And you will lose all your material gain. And I will tell you the way to achieve it. Isn't that what Shukracharya did? So he is the one who showed to Bali Maharaj that he is Vishnu. And he said, you will lose everything. It seems from the outside world, he cursed Bali Maharaj. But we saw today, even the curse of a devotee is blessing. And what beautiful blessing did he get? He got to reside in Sutta. So that is how we understand. He's a devotee. And then he is also the brother of Lakshmi. Shukravar is Lakshmi's day. So in many kirtans and bhajans, he is mentioned as the brother of Lakshmi. So that association is also there. So he's definitely a devotee. And he offered the garland to Indra, which was Mahaprasad of Lord Vishnu, which Airavata broke it into pieces and trampled it. And he got angry. He was Bhrigu's son. Yes, that's correct. So all of these indicate he was a devotee. So that's my answer. Unless somebody else has more explanations, suggestions. Praladananda Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you very much. I was just going to say, I heard Radha Govind Swami saying that he was a devotee because when he was, Vamandev asked him that, you complete this sacrifice even without Bali Maharaj. He says, there is no fault in this yajna because even your name, if somebody says your name, the yajna is completely fructified. Then what is to say when you are personally present? So that also proves that, he was a great devotee. That's what I heard from Radha Govind Swami.
Yes, and Maharaj also very wonderfully mentions that as a yajnakarta, all yajnas are to be submitted to whom? Vishnu.
Yes.
And he's saying, all this yajna is fine, now Vishnu is here, submit it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So in all ways, he's a devotee.
Yeah, he's a devotee, yes. Very good. Thank you.
Yes.
So, Prabhu, how do I reconcile the fact? Yeah, how do we reconcile the fact that he's, how should I say, discouraging Bali Maharaj from doing devotional service? Well, I mean, like, what devotee will do that?
So it's in the exterior. Always the intention of the Vaishnavas cannot be seen via the exterior. It's a pastime. For example, Hiranyaksha, the demon, he tells, looking at Varahadev, that you are a wild boar. He gives bad words. It's said, you are no one but a person who just roams around in the forest. You're a wild boar. Now, at the exterior, we might feel that somebody has given very harsh words to Varahadev. But you know what Shukdev Goswami and other acharyas write? He's actually glorifying Krishna, because he is the one who wanders in the Vrindavan forests. So that Krishna is as Varaha. So in fact, Hiranyaksha is glorifying Lord Varahadev. You wander in the forest and you have these wild flowers on you. Vanamali Murali Dhari Govardhana Girivardhari. So this is a glorification. So always there are layers. There is a direct meaning, there is a pastime, there is an inner meaning, there is a hidden message. So one can take different layers and peel it like an onion. Of course, onion is not to be used, but we can use it as an example. Peel it like the onions, you get layers and layers of meanings. So in an outward sense, this pastime does take place to say, he discourages, he says, you have to attain material goals. And sometimes we do also enact in certain way to showcase the higher qualities of the other person. For example, if you want to glorify your child who is very excellent in drawing, and you want to glorify that indirectly, what you would do is you will make a bad picture, and then you will open the arena or the painting to your child, who will come and modify it and make it a great art. Now you have fed the wrong input, but then only to showcase the other person's completeness and the qualities. So in order to show that Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan, who is an exemplary disciple amongst him, he just plays that pastime and says, he is even ready to reject me for getting Vishnu. So sometimes he plays that part. Sometimes the spiritual master underplays himself to glorify the disciple. We see the same example between Bhishma and Parashuram. They both were fighting for Ambalika's case. So we see these happening. But this is only to glorify the disciple. This is the transcendental relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. So there is an outer meaning, but there are inner layers. We understand that he was showing Krishna. And he was also sending a message, if somebody tells you to go away from Krishna, you reject him. Such a spiritual master has to be rejected. Because Bhagavatam is also a standing testimony for the future ages of Kali Yuga, where a lot of people will act as spiritual masters and will give wrong instructions. So it's also a direct instruction to those to reject such spiritual masters, such bogus saints who will cheat others. So all these can be taken in different ways, but it's the same, that the mood is devotion. The emphasis is one has to serve Krishna. One has to leave the material educated or posts or establishments to serve Krishna. And that's what Shukracharya is indirectly or directly mentioning here. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. But going back to the pastime where Varaha was insulted by, who was it you were saying? I forget.
Hiranyaksha.
Yeah. Yeah, so how is it that what he was saying to Varaha constitutes as glorification, when glorification requires a positive mood, not like a negative, pejorative, sarcastic mood.
So we don't use those verses to glorify the Lord, but the Lord hears it as glorification. So this is the Lord's greatest mercy.
But wait a minute, but the Lord is in the heart, right? He's in the heart. He's not just listening externally. he's hearing the mood in which something is said. So how is it that he is even hearing it as glorification?
So sometimes when a child is angry at the father or the mother and shouts, "You are the worst mom on the planet," there is a mood, there is a statement, there is a fact or not a fact, but the mother doesn't hear it that way. She even finds cute accusations of the child. She finds it cute. She sometimes finds it, okay, he loves me, that's why he's crying. So there is that relationship when two persons love each other. So here the living entity might be hating the Lord and saying all the harsh words. But the Lord is always loving to the living entity. He's waiting. Okay, you're saying that, but I take it this way. Because from the other side, the Lord wants to make a progressive relationship and is always thinking, how can I deliver this? How can I take this person back from that? Though the other person is not even thinking about it. Such is the munificent nature of the Lord. So the answer is, but we don't use those Nindastutis as our primary prayers. Because yes, you are right. We know how they have narrated it. For example, the gopis, they say you are the super soul. When they don't find Krishna everywhere, they say you are the super soul. But that's actually harsh. Why do they say super soul? Because the super soul is not visible very easily. So it seems like they are glorifying. Now this is the other state. They are glorifying the Lord in the Gopi Gita as you are the super soul. So we feel, oh, they're glorifying. No, they're actually saying harsh words. As a super soul, I cannot see you anywhere. But as Krishna, I could. So why are you not in front of me? So it's not a very big deal you're a super soul because you're anyway not visible to my eyes. So there can be glorifications which can act as harsh words. And there can be harsh words which can act as glorifications. One needs to peel the onions and see the real meaning. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
Yeah, that was very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji, Koti Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Spiritual Prabhuji, your class is very, very inspiring to all of us. Koti Dandavat Pranam to your sincere seva. Prabhuji, with the permission of all Bhakti Sangha teachers, can you sing 1 minute, whatever you want to sing, by the permission of all Bhakti Sangha teachers? Please forgive us for bothering you.
Okay, we will take one more question, and when the question is over, for 1 minute we'll sing. Not the full poem, but for... I see Indulekha Mataji has got a question. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, I can hear you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
So, I did have a question. We talk about how all knowledge culminates in understanding Krishna and Krishna consciousness. That is the ultimate. But while we are here in this world, there are many material duties that we need to perform, for which we, even devotees, they also make sure that their children have a proper education. Yes. In this world, so that they can, earn a living. They have enough to sustain and probably progress in Krishna consciousness. So how do we balance the two? I can say, oh yes, so I can focus my entire time and study only on scriptures and the literature that Srila Prabhupada is asking us to. But on the other side, we also have to make sure that we have a good job, and for that we need to study. So yes. How do we balance it, Prabhu?
We firmly understand that we are not this body, but we firmly understand we are in this body. So we have to take care of this body. So to take care of this body and to understand we are not this body, we need the body, isn't it? Even to say, I am not this body, I need my mouth, my tongue, my speech, my throat, I need the body. Even to say, I am not this body. So yes, even to realize I am not this body, my first prima facie requirement is I need this body. To keep that intact and to keep it comfortable, to further augment my understanding of spiritual science, I need material education. Now, material education, if it is learned always with a thought in our minds, and if it is taught, all education comes from Krishna. Material and spiritual, all things come from Krishna. I am supposed to learn and serve with this education, utilize my communication, my knowledge, my degree by utilizing it, dovetailing it to Krishna. It's seen as devotional service. We are not against material education. We are against accumulating material educations without realizing the purpose of life, which is Krishna consciousness. The verses that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning is saying, yeah, I attained all this material knowledge, but out of humility. He's saying, I have forgotten your lotus feet. But then let's also understand, because he learned all that knowledge, the language, the scripture, he is able to write this poem. So he's utilizing his knowledge for giving us the ultimate instruction that we have to dovetail it to Krishna. But it is out of his humility that he's saying, my life is wasted. But what we take from that song, from Kalyana Kalpataru, is that we understand if we are very, very short-sighted and we are only interested in gaining material education, and we are always interested to augment our material education, thinking that this will give us bliss, this will give us happiness, this will keep me strong in my life, and this will help me attain happiness. Let me tell you, that is not possible. But if we understand and we use it only to maintain our body and we maintain our living in a peaceful way so that we get time to read Srila Prabhupada's books, open Srila Prabhupada's books, then all that education is very useful. So we only utilize it up to the limit. We reach the conclusion that Krishna is to be served. So that's why my Guru Maharaj, he always says, please don't settle for anything less than a PhD. It's a very tall thing. Every of my disciples should become a PhD, so that when they sit in that Vyasasana and they speak Krishna consciousness, any materialist can feel, along with the PhD, the conclusion is drawn that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that helps the preaching movement. That helps the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was a teacher. And then he gives it up. So this is my answer, that we need to maintain a balance. We are not the body, but we are in the body. To maintain the body, we might need to do certain material activities, but we understand that Krishna is the source behind all of those, and we dovetail our education. I hope that answers the question. Does it clarify?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for that answer. And I understand that, I mean, at least I understand that you were born into a Krishna conscious family, right? So being a second generation, things are a little different because you have the right perspective from very young age. And you still need to make sure that you are well educated and you sustain your livelihood. So someday, whenever you get a chance, please do share what is the best path for your kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. The only best way is when you are studying His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Whenever he visits, he always mentions, if you're coming second in your school, Krishna is not happy. You have to be number one. You have to be number one. Krishna Bhakt, it's not pressure. If you love Krishna, you love every aspect of Krishna, even the material education. So you had to be number one. That's a motivation. That's a motivation. So I do know personally, there are so many devotees in Delhi where students go to prepare for IAS, Indian Administrative Services examination. Our Krishna conscious devotees are teachers in IAS courses, but with a Krishna angle. They teach you history. They teach you Aurangzeb. They teach you history of Akbar. They teach you the Mughal Empire. They teach you the Bhakti movement, but they add Krishna, the knowledge in between. Makes it easier for us to understand, give the exam, become an IAS officer, but it also gives us Krishna. So one becomes humble. So these classes are going on. So there is material education which can be given with Krishna consciousness. So that way, these are very, very useful.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
That's Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no other questions, are we up? There was one request for just one verse to be sung. Do we have time?
Yes, Prabhu.
In return of that, Mataji, I request your blessings. So I'm a good businessman. So in that way. So I'll sing this verse, which is Sundar Bala Sachidulala, because he is the Sundar Bala. So I'll sing.
Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
We'll sing the third verse, just one verse, because we are short of time. We already overshot the time. Radha Krishna ekatanu hai, niduvan maje bamsi bajai. Radha Krishna ekatanu hai, निधुवन माचे बंसी बजाए. विश्वरूप की प्रभु जी सही, विश्वरूप की प्रभु जी सही, आवट प्रकट ही नदिया में, आवट प्रकट ही नदिया में. सुंदर बाला सच्ची दुलाला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में. बाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर, बाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर, आलक शोभे कपोलन में. हरे कृष्ण. श्री श्री निताय गौर सुंदर की जय. Shri Shri Radha and Krishna have become joined in one body, and together they play a flute within the grove of Nidhuvan. In this mood, the Lord of Vishwarupa has come and manifested himself in the town of Nadia. Jai Shri Sachi Nandan, Shri Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Hope that satisfies you, Mataji. I'm sorry, I'm not
Yes,
a good singer.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. On behalf of all Vaishnava, please accept our humble obeisances.
I accept.
Hare Krishna.
Blessings.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
I would like to thank
Mataji.
you very much for a very beautiful class. Thank you for singing the bhajan so beautiful. Hari Bol. Very, very beautiful question answer session. We look forward to your association in the near future. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or realizations, with His grace, Haridas Prabhuji's permission and all the assembled devotees' permission, I would like to close the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuyavacha patiranam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. Om Jai Shri Haridas Thakur Ji ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. His grace, Haridas Varya Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavat.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
nectarian glass.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We'll be